an hour of truth for the battered but proud people of the Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and we have a full show today. We've got Kevin Wilson here with us for Talk of the Town.
Hello.
And we've got Bob Savage with us as well.
Thanks so much for letting me up here into the Radio Free New York treehouse, guys.
Yeah, you're one of the cool kids now, Bob.
Well, it's kind of scary. You look down; it's a ways down there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, don't you worry. New York State will pass a law to make you safer, Bob.
We're not letting girls in here, are we?
Yeah.
Did I say something wrong?
No. I heard the other Bob in my ear. So.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
I got distracted. Sorry.
What I asked you was, we're not letting girls up here, are we?
No. I don't think. I don't know. Well, although in New York that might be discriminatory. We all might go to jail. Or
better be careful. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But so this is Radio Free New York, and today is Tuesday, where we discuss Talk of the Town. Issues that might be going on in your town here in New York State and maybe in other places in the country. Although I think today's topic is going to be very much centered around New York State. But before we go to that, I do want to promo just a couple events coming up that I think are important that you should attend. First one is tonight, 6 o'clock p.m. If you are a voter in Monroe County, please come join me at the Monroe County office building that is 39 West Main Street. We'll be on the 4th floor for the county legislative session. We're going to be talking about a Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance that has been proposed to the county legislative body. I'm hearing that they're unsure if they're going to take a vote on it and whether or not they're going to support it or not. So if you think that's important to you, I will be there. I'll be speaking. You can sign up. You can call the county ledge office. I don't have that number with me, but get added as a speaker if that's something important to you, if you're passionate about it. So once again, 6 o'clock p.m. tonight, 39 West Main Street, 4th floor. Hope to see you guys there. Second item I've got, Thursday night, 6:30 to 7 p.m. at the Dutch Mill in Greece. We're having a signature party. So if there is a candidate that you want to support, help get on the ballot, we have a slate of libertarian candidates. You have to be a libertarian to sign. That's not me saying this. This is New York State law saying this. Please show up. Kevin will be there. Sean will be there. A bunch of other libertarians will be there. Show up, meet us, say hi, and if you can, sign to help get some of these candidates on the ballot.
Yeah, and you can also join the county committee, too. If that's something you're interested in, we'll have information about that, and you can sign it.
Yep, absolutely. That is something that we probably don't put enough emphasis on in the show. I talk a lot about petitioning, getting candidates on the ballot, but whatever party you're in, whether it's a Libertarian Party, Conservative Party, Republican Party, Democrat Party, Independents, Green, SAM, what else is there? There's a lot of parties. Get on your local committee. If you want to see change, maybe you're happy with your party, maybe you're unhappy with your party, definitely become a committee person so you can have say in your party. It's very important.
The SAM party? I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, the SAM party. What's it stand for? Kevin, do you remember?
Serve America movement. Stephanie Miner ran back in 2018 and ended up getting them ballot access. She's the former mayor of Syracuse.
Oh, okay. So this is like a left of center kind of party, probably?
Like moderate Democrats, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think her running mate was a Republican, right?
Oh, yeah, no, he was. They're, it's like just one of those, like, centrist parties.
Yeah, yeah, kind of an interesting campaign. They just barely squeaked by too.
It's like
they
Claire McCaskill. We're not those crazy Democrats.
yeah, there you go.
Very
Yep.
much.
So that's the political action of the day. Talk of the town. Go out, get some candidates on the ballot. Participate in your county legislative meetings, and get on your local committees if you have one, which hopefully you do. So, but for today's talk of the town, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. You guys maybe are seeing this going on. We've got two topics for today. One is the state of emergency declaration that Cuomo put together in response to coronavirus. And Bob keeps telling me that just drinking other brand beers doesn't actually keep me safe from coronavirus.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I mean,
no.
we have another important question for you, Andrew. How many rolls of toilet paper do you have right now? Because
Oh, you know what?
gotta be
That's a good
prepared.
question. I have not stocked up on toilet paper. I have not stocked up on what was the other stuff? Milk and bread.
So it's a virus outbreak, not a snowstorm.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just never know
Milk goes
in
bad.
Western New York and upstate New York. Like, maybe coronavirus and a big blizzard happens at the same time. I don't know.
You never. I mean, so you gotta get your milk, your bread, your beer.
Yep,
No.
yep.
I mean,
for me, I
it is
prefer
great-
bourbon, and I'm well stocked on the
See,
bourbon.
bourbon.
so-
All right. Well, then you're set. What
Yep,
more you
I'm,
need?
I'm good. And
But-
I think the stuff I drink probably has almost as high of an alcohol content as the new New York State sanitizer.
Well, that one's 75%. And actually, so I wanted to do this. I said I wasn't able to be there for Fake News Friday. Tito's had to put out a statement saying that you cannot, in fact, use their vodka for hand sanitizer. It is not high enough alcohol percentage for it to work.
Oh, and by the way, we also emphasize to folks, just for your own safety, do not drink the Andrew Cuomo hand sanitizer. That's not, don't use Tito's on your hands, and don't drink Cuomo sanitizer.
Solid advice, Bob. Thank
Yep,
you for
yep.
that
But
important
we're looking out
announcement.
for folks because we're the station that cares.
So I don't have perishables stocked up for this pending pandemic that is coming, and toilet paper. I couldn't even tell you, but I will say, when I buy toilet paper, I do go to Wegmans and buy the biggest bundle I possibly can, so I don't have to buy toilet paper for like the rest of the year.
So the question I have is, where do you get the Cuomo hand sanitizer? Now, I know that the prisoners make
don't.
it. It's all manufactured in the prisons. So do we have to drive to a prison to get the stuff?
Yeah. Well, you have to go to a prison, Bob. So step one,
Oh.
get arrested.
Okay. All right.
And then in the prisons they can use a hand sanitizer. They can't possess the hand sanitizer because that's a contraband there. But you can use the hand sanitizer in the prisons. It is for the state only.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know. And maybe the prisons
Not
were
for
going to
us
have
plebes.
like drive-throughs where you drive in there and get your hand sanitizer, but guess not.
Sure don't.
So
Nope.
so is the alcohol in the hand sanitizer, is that just moonshine from the prison? Is that
Yeah. Something like that.
something like that? Yeah. Yeah. So that's well. How about you, Kevin or Bob? I mean, what are you guys stocking up on for coronavirus here?
All right, so I actually, this is something I do anyway. Like I want to make sure that if I wasn't able to leave the house for a little while, I got, some rice, some beans. I did buy toilet paper a little bit early, but I kind of needed it anyway. I was running out. I was like, all right, good time. But I didn't buy 30 cases of it like some people are doing. I've seen some videos of people just filling up carts and carts of toilet paper. I'm like, what are you gonna do with that? But cleaning supplies
It
too.
doesn't
but-
expire, at least. I mean,
That's
you
true.
know,
If you
there's
got a
that.
basement, I guess you could stock it up, and then when everyone else is out of toilet paper and it's Thunderdome style out there, like you're going to be the king of the neighborhood. Only
Yes.
you will have the toilet paper.
Well, I don't know about you guys. I haven't stocked up on anything, but I'll tell you, now that Andy has imposed his state of emergency, I feel a lot safer.
Oh
good.
yeah. Yeah.
That was the goal.
Now that we're in emergency mode, everything is just much safer. Absolutely.
Don't let a crisis go to waste.
Yep. Yeah. Well, he sure is good at that one. That's for sure. You guys are listening to Radio Free New York. We're gonna take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
College Assistance Plus has worked with thousands of families, saving them millions of dollars. It can be stressful choosing the right college, but we're here to help. CA Plus will guide you from college visits to college graduation and through every step in between. Each student and family situation is different, and we work to accommodate those specific needs. Call today for a free family meeting, 585-582-1846, or visit collegeassistanceplus.com for more information. College is expensive. College Assistance Plus can help.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, we are back here on Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We've got Kevin Wilson here with us.
Hello.
And we've got Bob Savage here with us as well.
Ahoy, mateys.
And we're just talking about Cuomo's declaration of state of emergency in New York. But I was reading through some of your comments. I saw some of you guys, my video froze. Sorry, guys. Those of you listening to the radio, if you ever want to see Kevin and myself, you guys can pop over on the Andrew C. Hollister Facebook or YouTube channel, and you can see our lovely faces. Apparently, mine was frozen in time through the last segment. But Chase actually has a decent question that I think we should address as we're talking about this. And she says, should we actually be worried about the virus? And I think that that's a worthwhile discussion to have here as we're talking about kind of the mass hysteria centered around it. And I will just kind of share with you guys some stuff that was shared with me by a couple different doctors and also an infectious disease specialist. For the most part, it's not any more dangerous than anything else. You know, people are kind of freaking out because there isn't a vaccine, but you wouldn't treat this any differently than you would the common cold. Like, wash your hands, you know, don't be sneezing on people, like, you know.
Try not to touch your
face,
and I'm trying not to do that.
Can I just toss in here something, by the way? There isn't a vaccine for anything. There are vaccines, and they're effective in most cases. Probably the best example of an effective vaccine is the polio vaccine. But most of these viral things, the vaccines are somewhat effective. They're helpful. For example, I mean, the flu vaccine this year, there's nobody out there that thinks that this year's flu vaccine is more than 50% effective. And we have had in Monroe County and the Rochester Metro, for you folks along the network, we've had 12 fatalities, flu fatalities this flu season. 12 in one county.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think because this is something different, I think there's a lot of hype centered around it. Certainly, Governor Cuomo and other elected officials aren't helping any with this. But what's interesting is what this specific infectious disease doctor said is he actually is worried about the virus, but not on a medical level. He's worried more on an economic level because it's been blown out of proportion. People aren't traveling. People are canceling life events like weddings and
They're
graduation
closing
parties.
universities. Like Fordham University, I think, is closing. I think there's another one in Western New York they're shutting down all classes. So people are panicking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So at least according to this doctor, and this has been kind of echoed with other doctors that I've spoken with recently, there is some danger to this, but the medical danger is pretty minimal. Unless if you're over the age of 55, the fatality rate does go up pretty significantly. But that's pretty typical with most viruses, like
well,
under
it's
the
like
age of. Okay.
Yeah, if you're vulnerable to like flu right now, like, and you're worried about that, like you're at a health risk for that being like really serious, then you should probably be worried about this too. But if you're young or healthy, like you're probably gonna be fine. You gotta try not to spread it. So
Isn't
wash your hands.
the median age for coronavirus victims fatalities, isn't it 80? I think it's 80 years old.
Could be. Yeah, I don't have the specific numbers, but I know when I looked at the chart, the numbers were just abysmally low for the majority of ages, and that kind of like tapered up a little bit at the older ages.
It's like 0.2% fatality rate, which again it's not great either, but it's a 1 in 500 chance.
I just remember, the old placard from World War II, keep calm and carry on. This is not something to freak out about. The thing that really is a head scratcher for me is running out and buying toilet paper. Now, I don't think that one of the medical indications of coronavirus is massive diarrhea. So why all of a sudden the run on toilet paper is kind of a mystery to me.
So I think this one's rational. I really do. Here's why, and it's not because you're gonna get sick and need toilet paper. It's if government overreacts, they put a travel ban on your town, or they tell you can't go somewhere, and you're stuck in your house for like 4 weeks. You don't want to have to run out of toilet paper, or other food for that matter, because you can't leave your house. So I think it's somewhat rational, although people are overreacting.
Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, this does not compute.
Yeah, I don't know. I think of all the things I'd be stocking up on. I'd be much more apt to go the rice and beans route that you went, Kevin, and
I also bought like an eighth of a cow too. So,
yeah,
but that was unrelated. I just happened to do that, and now I have meat for like 6 months.
Now listen, I can understand there being real concern if you can't get out of the house. What if you run out of bacon? Now you got a real problem.
Yeah,
that's something to really be concerned about. So I would, stack up on, 12, 13, 16 pounds of bacon in your refrigerator, because that's a real danger to human existence.
I think so. Bacon, jerky is really important to me. So like I'll just like order cases of jerky maybe. That would definitely if I couldn't get my hands on some jerky, I'd be in trouble.
It's time to stock up, man.
Yep.
Before the state of emergency comes for us.
Yeah.
And it's not the sickness I'm worried about. It's the government reaction to it. And
but speaking of the government reaction, I mean, Kevin, I know you had some points you wanted to talk about with Cuomo's declaration of emergency.
Yeah, so with some of that stuff, so Sean and I talked about this on our show last Thursday. The New York State Legislature gave Governor Cuomo the power to declare a state of emergency in a broad set of circumstances, from a disease outbreak to suspected acts of terrorism to natural disasters, whatever. And he waited all of 5 days to start using this new power. So, in relation to that new power, he is able to suspend local laws. So I'm going to read a part of Executive Order number 202, declaring a disaster emergency. And it says that by virtue of the authority vested in me by Section 29A of Article 2B of the Executive Law to temporarily suspend or modify any statute, local law, ordinance, order, rule, or regulation, or parts thereof, of any agency during a state disaster of emergency, if compliance with such statute, local law, blah, 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 hinder or delay any action necessary to cope with disaster or emergency, or basically necessary to help. It's a long way of saying that. And then he says, I hereby temporarily suspend or modify for a period from the date of the executive order through April 6, 2020 to following. And then he lists off a whole bunch of laws that he is suspending or modifying in some way for at least the near-term future. And some of these are interesting. Some of them I don't necessarily dislike. I kind of think that that's just something that we should probably do from now on. So, like, hitting a couple of those points, there's one that says that the public health law can waive or revise eligibility criteria, documentation requirements, premium contributions, and basically like change healthcare services, increase subsidy payments. Basically, the government's saying that, or the governor's saying that they can make broad changes to how health insurance is issued in New York State. So that's part of the executive order, and that's interesting to see how it might get applied. One of the ways that it might happen, and it seems like I think it already has happened, is that the governor is saying that health insurance companies have to not charge for the tests for the virus. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like the government do that. I kind of wish the insurance companies would do it on their own. I see there's a good reason for that, but what do y'all think?
Well, I don't think the governor should be in charge of price control. Like that,
Nope.
That's definitely an issue. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit when we hit the hand sanitizer thing. But I agree. I mean, in an ideal scenario, the insurance companies would say this is going to cost us a lot more money to have people who aren't tested and possibly sick and going to the doctor a whole lot more than it's going to cost us just to allow people to get tested for free.
Well, I'll tell you what I don't like about this executive order. I don't like the fact that it exists. Look, if we are free people, which I hope that on some level we still are, it's up to us to make sure that we're safe and that we protect ourselves. We don't need to have a nanny state suspending laws, enacting laws, imposing measures. Look, first of all, nobody knows what the content of this executive order is. So how can we comply with it? And it should be this is something that should come from the legislature, not from on high, not from a megalomaniac statist.
Well, you ain't going to find any disagreement with that from Andrew or I, I'm sure. No, we don't want Governor Cuomo to be able to unilaterally be able to suspend local laws and do stuff, and I'm trying to watch closely to see like what is he actually doing, and how do these laws impact us. And if I'll make sure I post the text of the executive order. If anyone in the comment section who's watching online wants to pick out parts they want us to talk about, we are happy to chat about it.
Yeah, I know that one of the comments, I believe it came from Garrett on YouTube, was emphasizing that by declaring this state of emergency, New York State might be able to get their grubby hands on some more federal funding. And that very well could be part of the power play here.
Oh, that's so great. That we can get more money from government.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure can. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
What's wrong with more money?
Everybody belly up to the trough. Let's get some more money.
Yeah, because we're not in debt already or anything.
Because we know that money equates to freedom, right? Liberty, choice, responsibility, initiative. Give me a break.
All right, guys, you are listening to Radio Free New York. We're going to take a brief break here. When we come back, we're going to tell you about New York State Clean, the newest brand of hand sanitizer. Maybe hitting the market near you, maybe not.
So exciting.
I know, I just can't wait. We'll talk about that more when we come back on Radio Free New York.
Now, more than twice the power. More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and 1040 AM WYSL Avon Rochester.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center. Tonight into tomorrow, we will see a decrease in cloud coverage. Temperatures will be in the 20s to start off the day, and then it looks like we'll be back into the 40s with a mix of sun and clouds for Wednesday. Thursday will be dry and milder again with highs in the mid-50s. Showers will be likely for Friday, 53 degrees on Saturday, mix of sun and clouds, lower 40s for the high. This is Samantha LaRocca with your WYSL report.
Spring is just around the corner at Victor Chevrolet. For a limited time, lease a 2020 Equinox all-wheel drive LS for just $139 a month. Has convenience package and deep tinted glass in rear and tailgate. MSRP $29,780. Residual $21,143. Requires non-GM lease and household. Or a 2020 Silverado four-wheel drive custom double cab pickup for only $199 a month. Remote start, rear window defogger, trailering package, and 20-inch aluminum wheels. MSRP $42,780. Residual $29,521. Must have current 2015 or newer Silverado or Sierra lease through GM Financial in-household. Lease a thrifty 2020 Trax LS four-wheel drive for only $109 a month. Has tint and cruise package. MSRP $22,790. Residual $14,586. Requires any current lease in-household. These are all 24-month leases. $2,500 cash or trade. First payment, tax, acquisition, and DMV fees are all due at signing. And check this. Victor always has a great selection of terrific pre-owned vehicles, too. Find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit victorchevrolet.com.
The Open Door Mission presents a Mission Minute with Executive Director Anna Valeria Eisman.
The Open Door Missions program for homeless women and children has been open for over a year now, and it seems like a good time to express our concern for the growing number of homeless children and families in our community and across the country. We need to give them a voice because they are unrecognized by many systems and public services. They are uncounted in homeless census numbers, they are underserved and invisible to many. But we see them. We see their attempt to find a place to stay for a night or a week or a month at a time. We see moms try to get their kids to school when they do not have an address to provide so a bus can pick them up. And we see smart, insightful, innocent children susceptible to the cycle of generational poverty because they do not have access to the support they need to develop. We are advocating for these families. Please visit opendoormission.com to learn more on how you can help.
Restoring hope and changing lives. opendoormission.com.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
At Genesee Community College, student success is at the center of everything we do. And that's one of the reasons that we switched to Tompkins Bank of Cast Isle. They're stable, consistent, and local. Their direct support helps us to provide better facilities and support to our students. And Tompkins Insurance protects our buildings, grounds, and vehicles. And we're proud that some of our alumni are working at Tompkins.
Tompkins Bank of Cast Isle and Tompkins Insurance Agencies. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Las from Action Towing and Service. We are the biggest towing company in New York State, but we do a lot more than just towing. We will tow just about anything, but we will also repair just about anything as well. We offer a courtesy shuttle and pickup. We offer a drop box service. We have all these amenities that we've put in place to make sure that every one of our customers can receive the best service possible. Please give us an opportunity to win your business. Come down and visit us at 275 Marketplace Drive, right off of Jefferson Road.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We've got Kevin and Bob with us today as well. And Kevin was talking about Cuomo's state of the emergency. And Kevin, it sounded like you had a couple more points you wanted to bring up to speed. And I know I kind of jumped ahead. I'm really excited to bash Cuomo's new hand sanitizer.
The hand sanitizer. Oh, me too. It's going to be fun. But I do want to make sure that our listeners are informed about what Governor Cuomo is actually doing with the executive order, and we know it's coming. So most of the executive order is actually about, like, kind of suspending normal procurement processes. It's just saying, like, you don't have to follow the laws to go and buy stuff anymore. So for better or worse, that is happening.
Interesting. Do you have, like, an example?
So like if a town wanted to go, basically it's pretty broad based. Like if a town wanted to go and buy something as it related to like the coronavirus outbreak, like whether it's medical supplies or fuel or whatever, they don't have to go through like an RFP process to go and buy that stuff. They can just go out and get it.
So government could possibly be efficient. Is that why?
That's kind of it. I mean,
interesting. Okay.
You just hope that like that efficiency doesn't lead to them giving a bunch of money to their friends, which government
happens
is known for.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
So the other thing, there's one section in here that says that the public health commissioner or the commissioner of health can just promulgate emergency regulations and amend the state sanitary code. It doesn't say specifically what. It just says for anything, and to allow patients to get drugs or supplies without delay, to make changes to the hospital sanitary code, to do all this stuff. So kind of a blank check for the commissioner of health to totally rewrite healthcare regulations, which is interesting. I have no idea like what the implications of that are. I'm sure someone does. And again, please comment in if this is something you're interested in.
Well, listen, top down is always the way to get these things done properly. What you always do is you have some government find, some overeducated moron and have them just impose a bunch of measures on us.
Yeah, instead of like the hospitals themselves understanding the situation on the ground. And when we saw this with the testing thing too, like the CDC was being so restrictive with the tests when all these other like hospitals and like universities were able to develop tests on their own. The CDC said, no, don't do that. Don't issue your own test. Don't do the thing.
Exactly.
And it slowed things down.
Yeah, I mean, government's really good at that, right? Being inefficient, making things slower. Very rarely does government processes ever make things actually safer. They just make them more costly and slower.
Yeah. And what kills me is progressives look at this situation and they're like, you know what? Yeah, this is why we need more government. I'm like, you looked at what the CDC did this past week and you think we need more government involved in healthcare? My goodness.
What a train wreck.
Oh, it'll be better people, I'm sure. But one of the ones I actually kind of like, and I think that it should be easier to do is it's going to make telemedicine a bit easier. Again, I don't like the method in which it's being implemented because it's Governor Cuomo doing it. But basically, the barriers to setting up like a telemedicine service have been lowered. So some of the requirements of getting certified for that for like existing doctors and hospitals, those barriers have been taken away, so people can do telemedicine easier. Which actually, I mean, I think it's kind of good. People should be doing that more. And why don't we just lower the restrictions all the time?
There you go. Now you're talking.
Yeah, that's something that maybe hopefully when all this is done and over with, people look at and go, hey, you know what we did to solve some of these problems? We limited government and gave people a little more freedom, and that helped. Maybe we should do that, and maybe something like this becomes permanent.
Yeah. And kind of related to that too, now Governor Cuomo is suspending an education law that it basically allows people who aren't certified nurses to do things like take, swabs or like take temperatures and things like that. So it'll basically lower the licensing barrier for people to be able to assist with medicine as it relates to an outbreak.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need a nursing degree to take a temperature. So I'm all on board with that.
No, you should have to have a state license though. If you're gonna take somebody's temperature, how do you know you're qualified?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, the way you become qualified, Bob, is you pay a fee.
Right.
Well, Andrew, come on now. You've lived in New York long enough. You know how this works.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I don't like the way he did this, but like, again, if it's okay for people to be able to do these types of like, low end medical services during an emergency, then why can't we just make that permanent? Get on it, state legislature. Just let people do jobs.
Yeah, and I think that this probably emphasizes something very important that people may or may not be overlooking, which is in a time of crisis, which I don't believe we're sitting in a time of crisis, but we're sitting in a time of perceived crisis. And right now we live in a society where perception is truth. But in a time of crisis, where we should be being the best we can possibly be in society, right? And what government is doing to try to fix this crisis is actually loosening the reins and reducing some of the requirements. So we should be looking at this and being like, wait a minute. So government, you actually know. You as government know that the right answer is to eliminate barriers to entry so that people can help each other. And I think this is really important to point out that this is what's being done to fix things at a time when people are freaking out and worried and don't feel safe. So we should definitely look to this as something that we should be doing. Once again, I will echo what Kevin said. This wasn't the right way to do it. I'm not particularly fond of the governor's executive orders. However, if we're limiting government and that's what's going to fix us in a time of crisis, why wouldn't we do that when we're not in crisis?
Yeah. I mean, we can have like more nimble, proactive responses that are based on local knowledge and, the skills that people are able to provide to help out in these situations. But instead, when you get that kind of ham-fisted, top-down approach from either the federal or the state level, it ends up grinding things to a halt. And in a situation where you could have an outbreak that's really fast-moving, then that becomes a huge problem.
No, absolutely. So did this executive order, this declaration of emergency, did they fix the vaping issue with us? I mean, I thought that was like our latest emergency, right?
I know, right? Well, maybe that's the next executive order. It's gonna come out.
Flavor ban.
Yeah, but so there's one more I wanted to get to though, which. It's kind of tacked on at the end there. It says that it provides the governor with the authority to regulate traffic and the movement of vehicles on roads, highways, and streets.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Let's take some freedoms away. Perfect.
Take away your freedom to travel. So that one's coming, or he's at least setting himself up to do that.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because there have been, and we actually haven't talked about this on the show, but there's been a lot of discussion in New York State about cashless tolls, changing the price of tolls in New York, and there's been a lot of pushback against this. It would be interesting to see if they take advantage of this new authority and somehow sneak that in while all this is going on.
The cashless tolls?
Cashless tolls or changing the price of tolls.
It could be too. I mean, the cashless tolls, they could be like, well, look, we don't want our people, spreading the virus by touching money or anything, so gotta.
Yep. It's
gotta make the switch now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What they want to do is they want to try out their authority and try out exercise the gears a little bit to see how they can restrict our travel, so they can tell us to stay where we are or keep us from going to certain places. Like, for example, let's say there was a Second Amendment rally somewhere downstate, and Andy and his furry friends decide maybe we don't want a lot of people showing up.
Yep. So they restrict travel. They restrict, like, gatherings of large events.
You think I'm kidding about this? I mean, you look at the restrictions on our freedoms. If you had talked about some of the specifics 5 years ago, people would have said you were nuts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you were to talk about some of the things that have happened in New York State in even the last 5 years, 10 years ago, people would say that could never happen in the United States.
That's exactly right.
Here we are. All right, guys, we're going to take our last break of the hour. When we come back, we're talking about New York State Clean hand sanitizer. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Sending a shout out, by the way, down the network line to WACK AM FM in Newark, and also the Patriot, WENY in Elmira Corning.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Human trafficking is when someone is being forced, tricked, or coerced to engage in a sex trade or forced labor. If you're a kid and forced to sell sex, drugs, or work against your will, that's trafficking. You're not a criminal, and there is help available. Call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888 or text Be Free. Sponsored by the Livingston County Safe Harbors Human Trafficking Task Force.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
I would say the next thing we brace ourselves for is travel restrictions, because Andy Cuomo has given himself the power to do it. When you got a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
There you go. Yep, that's definitely a possibility. I do want to talk about the hand sanitizer, though.
Yeah, we've been teasing it the whole show. We got to talk about it.
Yeah. And part of the reason I want to talk about this is I want to talk about, should government be creating products at all? I mean, and this is probably an entire show worth of discussion, so we won't dive too deep into it. But I think Bob might have the audio of Cuomo unveiling this new hand sanitizer. Do you have that by any chance, Bob?
I just not only could I have it, I actually have it, and I have Hillary's reaction to it. Would you like to hear?
Sure.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Okay, so now we are problem solvers. State of New York, Empire State, progressive capital of the nation. You're a problem solver. You're price gouging on hand sanitizer and a high demand for hand sanitizer. What do? Distilleries? Close down bourbon? Never. What else do you do? Make your own hand sanitizer?
Perfect.
Can you do that? You should be governor. Open the curtain, please.
Come on.
We are introducing New York State Clean hand sanitizer.
Can I just point out, people are laughing in
the
press
I mean,
conference?
this is like so ridiculous.
I haven't heard this audio yet. Actually, I was like, is Bob inserting a laugh track, or are people just laughing at him?
I was. There's just a little Hillary in there.
All right. I heard that one.
But back to Andy now.
Made conveniently by the state of New York.
Prisoners.
This is a superior product to products now on the market. The World Health Organization, CDC, all those people suggest 60% alcohol content. Purell, competitor to New York State Clean, 70% alcohol. This is 75% alcohol.
That's a big difference. 75 versus 70. Okay, go ahead, head case.
It also comes in a variety of sizes.
What about flavors?
It has a very nice floral bouquet.
Smells like eruption.
I detect the lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet, making it in the state of New York.
That's it.
This is
the stuff of which late night comedy is made.
And that's like, as I was watching this, I was like, this is like a bad QVC commercial or something. I don't know. It's just like
full cringe going on here. It's,
yeah. So
it's only $75,000 a gallon.
Yeah. Well, so what's interesting to me is there's a few things that he said that I want to emphasize. He said it's much cheaper for us to make it ourselves than to buy it on the open market.
Sure.
And
nope.
Well,
what makes it cheaper?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna probably actually disagree with him on this. I think that he's full of crap. But I mean, he is full of crap. But I think specifically on this for sure, because the reason they're saying it's cheaper is because they're essentially using prison slave labor and paying the prisoners pennies an hour in New York to create this, but they're not factoring in the cost of having those inmates in prison.
Right.
So it doesn't actually cost pennies an hour for an inmate to be in prison. It costs us significantly more than that. I want to say it's like $74,000 a year per inmate or something like that. So I believe that if you were to compare that to a factory that's just pumping this out, I bet you it actually costs like commercial markets a lot less.
Well, we all know that any product or service that's made by government is always a better product and is more financially effective than the private sector where there's competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure the residents of the Soviet Union would agree with you, Bob.
Just imagine. and I just wonder what the real cost of a gallon of New York Clean is. And this is like a bad joke. Are the prisons set up that the prisons have assembly lines and bottling equipment to create this stuff in an efficient manner? Of course they don't. They're prisons.
Apparently it was
They're
all
not factories.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting, this whole thing, and it was bizarre. I recommend you guys go watch the video. I mean, it's just the strangest video I've ever seen. Everybody's like really awkward and stuff in it. I mean, you heard the audio; it was already pretty strange. But yeah.
The New York State prisons they have a brand called Corecroft Products, and so they have factories around the state where they use prison labor for various things, usually produced for the government.
Yeah.
That's fine, but it's not made for general consumption in the state, and for the governor to be having a press conference to tout this consumer product made by prisoners it's just bizarre. It's almost as bizarre as Andy's, the artwork he recently commissioned that we've talked about.
Oh yeah, that weird boat thing or whatever it was. Yeah,
the seas of adversity and all that.
There it is. Yeah.
So one of the things that Cuomo said is, if Purell and some of these hand sanitizer companies don't reduce the cost of their products, that New York is going to put this on public market and try to start competing with them at a lower cost.
Oh boy, a lot of sleep going to be lost in the executive homes of executives at Purell. That's kind of a scary thing, and that is exactly what statist control freak Cuomo would do. He would start to try to restrict legitimate companies from doing business.
Yeah. And try to undercut them to make it look like he's doing something and to consolidate his own power. That's what he's doing here.
Yeah, and the thing I want to emphasize here is, should government ever be manufacturing products? Should government be doing this? And I think no. I can't think of any instance where government should have factories and be using what I'm going to call slave labor to manufacture products.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think that the government should be in that business at all. Like, it may be like in very, very few circumstances, but like maybe some military stuff. But even then, like most of our military stuff is produced by private companies too.
Well,
so, like, why does the government need to get into that?
Old Soviet Union, we did have Stolichnaya, so I mean that's a category of one.
So you got that.
Yep.
And then,
what's that?
I said, and then we're all trying to think of another one.
I don't know if the trade-offs are worth it. I could think of another like brand of vodka that was produced by the government, Svedka, but then they privatized that and it got much better. So
probably the price went down.
Yeah, I mean all that stuff, right? And again, and it's the price seems like it's cheap in some of these instances, right? Like, oh, it's so much cheaper. But again, it's we're paying for that. We're paying to house these prisoners to do that. It's not actually cheaper for us to do that. It's cheaper as a society for us to go and just buy the stuff from Purell or Lysol or whatever. It's
well,
I don't understand why the governor needs to get into this stuff.
I just want to point out, I've got two words for Andy Cuomo: license plates. Look at the wonderful quality license plates we have in this state. Half the license plates you encounter out there in traffic have no paint on them anymore.
Hey, peeling off. You can expect that same quality from your hand sanitizer, which should bring you some comfort, Bob.
Yes, your skin will be peeling off.
Yep. Yeah, 75% alcohol, or maybe they just forget to put the alcohol in it, and it's full of lilacs and tulips. I don't know.
That floral bouquet.
Yeah. Now, I do want to point out, since we brought it up earlier, I did go on Amazon just to see what hand sanitizer costs right now. And I found you can get 60 milliliters of hand sanitizer delivered to your door for about $18. Or you can get 750 milliliters of Tito's vodka for $19.99.
Oh, boy.
You can't use Tito's for hand sanitizer.
Will not protect you from coronavirus.
I'm going to try.
Buy the Everclear. Just go for the good stuff. It's drinkable. You could turn it into hand sanitizer. You're getting a 2-for-1 deal there. Just go for that.
And besides, you have enough Tito's or Everclear, you won't care about the hand sanitizers. Huh?
Exactly. Yep. So there you go. So guys, thank you so much for joining us on Radio Free New York. We will be back again tomorrow, same time, same place.